Good day to you guys. This is Yeshua Said My Name. I'm going to be starting maybe a 2 or 3 part series on the Vatican and the papacy for those of you who may be new subscribers. And I'm going to be exposing, with the Lord's help, the heretical comments from the papacy down through the centuries, how I believe Revelation 17 and 18 completely reveals that Vatican City State is modern day Mystery Babylon, dressed in purple and scarlet and holding a golden cup of abomination in her hand. She's the city of seven hills. I'd like to just give you a little prequel, so to speak, of what we will be discussing in depth. For those of you who may not, know that Revelation 17 and 18 clearly prophesies about the Vatican. And there are also Old Testament scriptures that I'll be getting into as well and delving into to correlate with the New Testament scriptures. But just to give you a little tidbit of what we'll be discussing soon, for those of you who didn't know, the Pope does claim to be God on earth. And even though he may not come out and say that on a regular basis, it has been known amongst writings, cardinals, bishops, down through the centuries, that he has indeed claimed to be God on earth. He believes he is the physical representation of God on earth. And I want to read you a few of these claims here that he has made, or that bishops and cardinals have made about him. Now, listen to the heresy in this. The Pope is so great dignity, and so exalted that he is not a mere man, but as it were God, and the vicar of God. The Ferraris Ecclesiastical Dictionary. And this is giving you the sources that these are coming from. That's heresy. All names which in the scriptures are applied to Christ, by virtue of which it is established that he is over the church, meaning Christ, all the same names are applied to the Pope. Wow. Just wow. I mean, I would cringe thinking that I would say something like that against the Lord. And this comes on the authority of the Councils, Book 2, Chapter 17. The Pope and God are the same, so he has all power in heaven and earth. Pope Pius V quoted in Barclay, and it gives you the chapter and page and the book. The Pope, as it were, God on earth, sole sovereign of the faithful of Jesus Christ, chief of kings, having plenitude of power. Unbelievable, isn't it? And here, like I said, all the sources are here. The Pope takes the place of Jesus Christ on earth. By divine right, the Pope has supreme and full power in faith and morals over each and every pastor and his flock. He is the true vicar, the head of the entire church, the father and teacher of all Christians. No, he's not. The Lord said, Jesus himself said, you have one teacher, the Christ. He also said, all authority has been given to me in heaven and on earth. He did not leave a physical person in his place to call himself God on earth. He did not. Our only head as the church is Jesus Christ. These words are written in the Roman canon law to believe that our Lord God the Pope, wow, did you hear that? Our Lord God the Pope has not the power to decree as he has decreed, is to be deemed heretical. So what it's saying here is that if you don't agree with the Pope, you're a heretic, because he's considered our Lord God the Pope. This is pagan. Pagan, and it goes on and on. Pagan leaders of times past used to claim that they were God on earth, including the pharaohs as well. We're also going to be delving into why I believe Revelation 17 and 18 describes Vatican City State as being Mystery Babylon, modern day Mystery Babylon, dressed in purple and scarlet, sitting on a city of seven hills. And we'll get into that. And here is the Revelation 17 will explain all of that. A woman arrayed in purple and scarlet color, decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornications. That to me is none other than Vatican City State. We will also be discussing the Pope's audience hall. I've had emails asking to cover this, so I want to go back over that again. The audience hall of the Pope, and I don't think it's an accident either, looks like a serpent to me. I mean, if you look at these pictures, it clearly to me shows something that looks like a serpent. And, there have been, again, higher ups within the Vatican over the decades that have come forth as whistleblowers saying that there are satanic practices that go on in the Vatican behind closed doors. And it's no coincidence that his audience hall looks like a serpent. Not in my opinion. Final thing that we're going to go over is a book called The Vatican Heresy. And what's interesting about this book is Bernini, who is the author, Bernini and the Building of the Hermetic Temple of the Sun. And Robert Ruval is a co author. Apparently, it says here, reveals how the largest sun temple in the world, built according to Hermetic principles, is located at one of Christianity's holy sites, the Vatican. It says here, shows how famous Renaissance philosophers and scientists called for Hermetic reformation of Christianity by building a magical temple of the sun in Rome. Robert Ruval was born in Egypt. A construction engineer, his interest in Egyptology is long-standing, having lived in Egypt and elsewhere in the Middle East for much of his life. In the 1980s, he developed a line of study linking the pyramids and the so-called pyramid texts with astronomy, and famously published the best-selling The Orion Mystery. What gets me about this is this man is from the Middle East, he's from Egypt, and his interest is in Egyptology. If anyone would recognize a pagan temple, wouldn't it be him? Based on Egypt's history with paganism and the pharaohs. These obelisks and the pyramids that are all over the world are not what people think they are. It delves very deeply. So we'll get into that. The Vatican heresies, the Pope claiming to be God on earth. We'll also be getting into Revelation 17, updating on Mystery Babylon, and so on. The Pope's audience hall looking like a serpent. So I hope that you'll tune in for those. It'll be a recap for some of you. Others, it will be hopefully some new and eye-opening information for you to understand Revelation 17 and 18 in these last days. God bless you, and thank you for listening.